Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Something new happened, so I figured I would document it. So I had to leave my company to handle some family issues that I was going through, and I guess after 90 days you voluntarily quit if you're not driving. So I had to reapply for my company, and because I did that, I had to undergo another DOT physical, even though mine hadn't expired yet, which really sucked. And apparently, I am a lot heavier than I was, or I'm just a lot heavier than I thought I was. So they required me to get a sleep test because I have obesity issues. And since I have obesity issues, they said, we have to measure your neck to get a BMI. And I wasn't within the range that I needed to be in, I guess. So they required a sleep study. My issue with the sleep study is I understand that they have to, cover ground and make sure that people don't have sleep apnea for safety reasons. It totally makes sense to me. But they're screening people just based off of what they weigh. Basically saying that if someone is smaller, they won't have sleep apnea. But I know people who aren't large people and they do have sleep apnea. So it's kind of insulting to me. But anyways, off of that tangent. So my company got the sleep test overnighted, and it's in this nice little box. It's called a watchPAT. I don't know if your guys's would be the same or what, but this is the test that they wanted to take, and I guess it's all electronic, so I don't have to go into a doctor's office or anything. And when you open it up, this is where all of this stuff is. I already took it all out because I used it last night, and then these are the directions. The directions are pretty easy to follow. But I wanted to go through and talk to you guys about how it was and what all happened, because me and my husband, we did a lot of research to find out what everything was testing and try and figure out what all was going on, because when I take a test, I want to know what exactly they're monitoring. Not necessarily to pass or fail it, just because, when any medical procedure is done, it's good to know why it's being done and what exactly it's doing. So we went on and we read their manual and we found out what everything does. So I'm going to let you guys know what everything does and hopefully tell you things that you may not know. So this right here monitors your pulse, and it also gives an electronic current. Basically, just it makes sure that the watch actually works. So if the watch doesn't really work, then if these two leads aren't plugged into the wrist thing, the watch will say that the test is aborted. So you have to have this thing, and it says that it has to be put on by a certified technician, but my husband did it, so I guess don't worry about that. Then you have this thing, and this has a light in it, and you put it on your finger, and you have to put your finger all the way to the very back until you feel a wire, and you have to put that wire underneath your fingernail. And this measures your O2, so your oxygen levels. And when you're sleeping, your oxygen levels get to a certain point, and that's how it knows when you're sleeping. And if your oxygen levels drop too low, then that's how it knows that you have sleep apnea, because you get to a point where oxygen just isn't reaching certain areas. So then you put this on your finger, and then you put the watch on like this, and then you turn it on. When you turn it on, there will be a screen that shows the little symbol for Itamar. And then that'll be done. Then this piece is optional. Not everybody has this piece, I guess, but this is a microphone that tests your snoring, and you just put it right here, and it'll tell you, it'll tell them if you snore or not. This thing is so sensitive that it records background noises, and then they find out if it was a background noise or if it was really you by the amount of decibels that it reaches on the graph. So it's not actual sounds that are recorded, because everything is just like lines on a graph, like a polygraph or something. So it doesn't actually record sounds. So they don't really know if it's you snoring. They just go off of whatever the graph shows for normal snoring. This tape on the back really sucks, so I put a Band-Aid over it, and the Band-Aid worked fairly well. Other than that, that's it for how the machine works and what it's monitoring and what all the pieces do. The only other part is the different things that the machine does. So while you're sleeping, it counts down how long you've taken the test. From what my manager told me, it does 4 consistent hours minimum is what it needs. So if you don't sleep for a consistent amount of 4 hours, then it could end up ruining the test. Now, I was up every 2 hours because of how uncomfortable it was. Either I was tangled up in the wire, or the watch was making my arm too sweaty and like was too bulky, so I couldn't like make my hand comfortable, or the finger thing I felt was falling off. So I only slept like 2 hours straight. So hopefully my results come back fine, but if they don't, I will have to let you guys know. But they do say that it's recommended that they get a minimum of 4 hours of recorded sleep and a maximum of 8 hours. Now, what I found was after 8 hours, it will automatically turn off. My manager didn't know about that at all, so your manager might not know about that, your company might not know about that, but after 8 hours, it does turn off automatically. So it'll count down and it'll say time elapsed, and then when you wake up, if you overslept through 8 hours, it will just be off. And then when you try and turn it back on, it'll give you an error code. The error code I got was error code 16.